Has Bitcoin topped 112K as I've been predicting? Or is this a getting on the dip type of situation, a pullback? Let's have a quick look, right? Because Bitcoin just had its weekly close and daily close. And by the way, this episode, we're going to talk about the altcoins that I'll be dollar cost averaging in this pullback. You know, the favorites that we've been talking about for the past 2 months, such as Kita, KTA, Virtues, Fartcoin, you know, Cetus, Sui, Soulmail, and plus more. All these altcoins that I've been talking about, let's get straight into it. So the monthly close was obviously a very important one for Bitcoin because, first of all, what we can see here, because last time, remember when it did this what you would call a topping tail, right? I was like, hey, this topping tail, maybe we should pay attention. Maybe we should go into defensive mode. 50% plus defense. I should have said 100% or at least 90% go into defensive mode. Big topping tail, and then look what happens. It's more clear if we put it on a regular chart rather than a log chart. Topping tail on a monthly chart. So what happened was 1, 2, 3, probably 4. And then followed by 3, 4 months of price going lower, 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 right? Eventually hitting 74K. Now, so on a monthly close, this was going to be really important for Bitcoin not to be doing a double top. So far, I mean, this is what, 104.5 out of 112, right? So basically, it's good. It'd be better if it was closed here, right? And it'd be terrible if it closed down here because then we get another wick up. We really don't want to see that. So the good thing is at least it closed above this old all-time high at 102.5K, which was the old monthly high. Now we have a new monthly high. So that's the good thing. So for the next few months, I see Bitcoin going higher. See how this told us the next 3-4 months, we're going to go lower. This bar, because of this big wick down, right? It's kind of like the reverse of this bar, but not as strong. It'd be better if we closed around here. That told us the next 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 bars, 4 months was going up. So this tells us next 4 months, we should be okay. We probably at worst comes down to a pullback around 92K at worst. We might even hold this 94K area because that's where the start of the month was, and then go up 1, 2, 3, 4, blow off top, right? So by 4 months from now would be June, July, August, September, right? 5th month will be October. That fits my scenario. I've always been saying September to November top, blow off top, historical top for Bitcoin, and probably for SP500 as well. Now look at the weekly close. So the monthly close looks good. Weekly close, and then we talk about the altcoins such as, you know, Virtues, Fartcoin, KTA. That's the one started by Eric Schmidt. I've been telling folks about. Has done quite well, Forex, and also Metaplanet, some of those stocks as well. So on the weekly, doesn't look quite as good. It's in fact, I would be a little bit alarmed about the weekly close. But that's the weekly. It's not as important as the monthly. Before we get to all of that, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo He-Man use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are. Then of course Americans can use it. Just by depositing, receive up to $200 US. Trade and win up to $35,000, right? And of course, this deal ends very limited time only on June the 4th. Trade and win a Tesla Model 3, Rolex watch, Apple Vision Pro, Sony, iPhone, lots of wonderful prizes. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. Link is in the description below. In any other platform, just go to my profile page and there's my link tree or Stan link, and it should be the first deal that pops up because this is a great deal, right? Bitunix. Okay, let's get straight back to the markets. And remember, folks, only on the Pablo He-Man link. Only on the Pablo link. Okay, so because the funding rates are still quite green, we check this all the time. So I think short term, what happens is we probably get a squeeze up. We get a squeeze up, something like this, right? 109, 110K, clear out all the greens or all the shorts before we do another leg down. So before I was saying, I don't see us going below 100K. I would like to rephrase that. I think we don't go below 100K in a massive one-day type of crash. I don't see that scenario, like a flash crash type of scenario happening. But I do think we can slowly go down there. By slowly, I mean like a push up to take out all the shorts first, liquidate the shorts, and then go down to something like mid-90s and bottom there, and then go for a blow off top. So basically the weekly bar, as we can see, I mean, it closed kind of, well, it closed in the red and kind of near the bottom. So I would expect Bitcoin to bleed a little bit more down this way, right? Challenge the 100K area. Still possible we bounce off 100K, 101K, but I'm probably 50-50 on it bouncing off, bottoming in mid-90s, because the weekly bar shows us it's relatively weak on a weekly basis. That means, okay, the next 3 or 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, that would be end of June. This was, yeah, end of June. Like next 4 weeks, we'll probably get something sort of like this, some sort of pullback, right? With a good chance of dipping below 100K, like 97, 95K area, and then blow off top. So I keep on saying, for people who say you're confusing, or you're saying up or down, no, blow off top to minimum 120K or more. If you want to say 140, 150, 200K, I mean, the numbers can get crazy once you get above 120K, price discovery for Bitcoin. But for the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, I see a pullback. And I used to say that we stop at 100K. Now I think we can go further. Okay, let's get into some of those altcoins. First one we can look at is KTA, Kita. KTA is basically one of the coins that I called out when it was around 20 cents when I first made the video. And it is, I done a full video on this, and it's basically a coin that is backed by lead investor is Eric Schmidt, who is the ex-CEO of Google for like 9 or 12 years. So he's quite a tech celebrity in the United States, and I hope folks got in on this one because it's up. Like I made my video, I think somewhere around here when it was like 20 cents. And then it's ran up to 80 cents, 90 cents. It's basically done a 4x since I made my video. And even right now, after 4x, 364 million. Now, the way to, I've done, this is just an update, so I'm not going to go into too many details, but for folks who want to think about it this way, if you look at coins like Phantom or Sonic Chain or Algorand, or XRP, a lot of Binance, a lot of those layer ones are basically $5, $10, $20 billion, even meme coins. This is like as establishment, as Silicon Valley as you get. This is Eric Schmidt, and he made the coin totally, KYC. That means know your customer laws, and AML, anti-money laundering and all that. So you have to show your ID, your identity needs to be seen on chain and all this and all that, so they can trace you. And that's the opposite of Bitunix, which is why Bitunix gives you privacy. But you can see that this is sort of thing is going to get embraced by Wall Street and the mainstream, and for it to be only at like 1/3 of a billion is, I would say, quite undervalued. So I've been buying the dip as well. Plus my original position. So the buy the dip, basically, right now, it basically looks like we get a pullback to something like this, right? 60, 65 cents, below 70. I hope folks got some dollar cost averaging it around this below 70 area. Let's just quickly have a look at where the Fibonacci is. Because it popped overnight. Now, let's have a look at this. So now, yeah, the 0.618 pullback area is around 65 cents. So if it goes to 66, just below 70 cents again, another good place to pick some up. In extreme scenario, if Bitcoin goes to like 90K, retest that 92K area, and then 50% pullback is around this 55 cent area, right? Not probably nice to try to get in if there's a big wick down, panic wick down. Okay, so let's have another look at, say, something called Virtues. Now, virtues is something that I called out quite a while ago. Been talking about it for a while now. Virtues. I think I've. So for virtues, basically, my theory is that there is. I actually, for people who've been following me, who have been in my Discord, you know that I called pretty much the exact top here in January the 2nd, because Virtues got listed on this day for futures trading, not spot trading, on Binance. And I said, okay, well, usually when that happens, basically Binance is going to try to smash the price down. And I think they've just done that to Hype, HYPE. So we're going to see some significant pullbacks in Hype as well. From memory, Binance just listed them on futures. So when they smash it down, and then it goes into bear mode for 3 months, and everyone gives up and everyone sells, that's when Binance loads up. The Binance market makers, that's when CZ loads up, buys all of it, and then he's got all those coins. He's not gonna. Then he lists Virtues on spot on Binance, and he's not gonna just sell and dump all his coins around $2 or $2.50. He's gonna want to see it go make a new all-time high. He's going to show you guys, see, look, how great am I? How great is Binance? If I list something, I'm the biggest exchange in the world, I'm going to push it up to a new all-time high. So I would say there's a good chance, unless Bitcoin crashes out early, if Bitcoin gets above 120K and stays up there until at least August, then I think there's every chance that Virtues can get above this this old high, which is $5 area. So in terms of pullback, let's have a look at which what levels are the entries. So one area we need to be careful of is this is a rising wedge, and stayed below this rising wedge for a couple of days now. So when that happens, usually what can happen is we go bounce off here. That looks like what is happening, and then boom, something like this. So then the next level of support is $1.30. This coin I was talking about in my Discord from memory around the 70-80 cents area, and then the video I made was around the 90 or $1.10 cents area. So if we get a second chance for it to dip back into the 130 area, that would be great. Possible support around this let's do a Fibonacci on this. Okay, Fibonacci retrace. Okay, 50% pullback, $1.50, $1.76. I still like this $1.30 area. Because it's the projected target for a breakdown of this rising wedge. We break down and touch $1.35 to $1.25 area, and then go up. Let's have a look at this Fibonacci. In terms of this high we just made, which is at a 515 area, right? And if we take down to here, then basically the resistance. Well, that's the way you find resistance. It stopped at this just below this 270 area. In terms of the bigger Fibonacci, we can see here that basically, if we take the bottom here, right, around 2 cents, to the top here around around $5.15, halfway of the range here is this one, 2.59, and that's where it stopped. It topped out at 2.59 for a pullback. I'm showing you guys on natural chart rather than log chart pullback. And then where's the next significant support level? It is here, $2, $1.98, which is where we are at right now, right? Which is where we are right now. And the next one, $1.23. So, in other words, let me put it back into log chart. So in other words, we have we can see from this this Fibonacci that a couple of things at play here. One, it is looking like it's getting rejected out of this rising wedge. So this $1.98 area which is also important because see, it's this Fibonacci area here. Probably gets rejected here if Bitcoin goes to the mid 90s, like 97K, 95K, and then comes down to something like here, right? We see another level at $1.23, and this level is at $1.35 or so. So somewhere in the $1.20, $1.30s, that's looking like big support here, big support. If folks want something in between, probably $1.65. Probably $1.65. So basically, if you really like this coin, dollar cost average something here, and then next level $1.60 something, and then it is possible if we reach $1.30, $1.20. Depends on where Bitcoin goes, and that would be a great opportunity, great area to get back to really pick up some virtues. Now let's have a look at some other coins. And here is Fartcoin. This is a coin that I pointed out quite early-ish during this, after this big bear market. So I was telling folks about this, making a video and telling my Discord about it when it was still inside this triangle. Didn't get the pullback that we wanted, but however, at least got a partial position in around this 40-something area, 40 cents area. Hit eventually $1.60. So it's 3.5x run so far. But I still think Fartcoin, because it can do well, because it bottomed so early, March the 10th. Remember, the rest of the market bottomed on April the 7th, which is here. You cannot even see that the market actually crashed on a day like this. So it's been so strong. So since the bottom, which is 20 cents, it's already up 8x. So this is the leader in the meme coin area, if we wanna call it that. So let's have a look at the big levels. So obviously, support here 94 cents, right? We have one pivot, two pivot, three pivot, right, and a bunch of tops here. So 94 cents, I think it's quite possible we can get there. Would be another area for picking up some Fartcoin. What is another big level of support lower than 94 cents? Let's see. So if we look at this from this top bottom to this top, this big range, then 75 cents. Yep. And if we look at from this bottom, right, 20 cents to $1.64, we can see that the 0.378 is also 74 cents. So those are the two levels for Fartcoin. One is 95 cent area, and two is 74 cents area. So for Fartcoin, it's easier to pick than for Virtues, those two support areas. But look, once again, if you really like a coin, if you really want to get in, don't wait for the big pullbacks. Start dollar cost averaging in. The whole point is to get some position in rather than missing the whole thing by waiting for an exact bottom at 74 cents or 50 cents or wherever you want it to be. Okay, I'll do another episode where I talk about more of the coins that I've spoken about before, Soul Mail and Sui Cetus, maybe for the next episode. Thank you for tuning in, guys.